minutes late, and in my recap our last session for inspiration?
I will try, but my notes get a little scarce towards the end, so please feel free to fill in what I miss.
Okay.
So we find a group hovering menacingly over a halfling, which we later learn to be Danwick Half Moon, and dispatch them a little too easily, specifically one of them who died. They are a part of a group called the Baxium Tower, which is a guild of mages meant to maintain order. So we did a bad thing. We decided to head to the Scriveners to try and smooth things over, and buy a diamond so that we can raise dead the next day. The others, Haza and Godric, go to smooth things over with the surviving members of the Baxium Tower. Dresden tells us he needs to reach his contacts at House Azir, so that's where we drop him off. We also learn that Ulvius is a complete psycho, and then Sinxi shows up at the last minute. Oh, and we did some shopping too.
Yeah.
What's your sister's name again?
Sanxi, Sanxi.
2 A's. SAA.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay. It was kind of hard. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
didn't
fine.
catch the last day either.
Thank you.
Doug, I just realized that Ink's backwards is in her name.
Oh my god.
What the fuck have we done?
Well, it's a little jumbled.
Yeah, it is. Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's probably
Um,
overlooked by mom.
So all of you are sitting in this chapel with this goblin woman in this woolen robe. Hair's, like I said, cut pretty short. She looks fairly clean, but the robe she's wearing has like dark stains on it, and she's just kind of agape, and staring at Inks, and her very large eyes are very obviously like looking Inks up and down, and then darting around the room.
Inks will stand up for wherever she's teaching Toric, and she'll just mouth agape as well, just say, "What the fuck?"
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? What are you doing here?
I'm working.
Okay, well, same. What the fuck brought you down here?
I mean, I'd heard about some things that were down here that I've been encouraged to go and seek out.
Okay, better question. Where the fuck have you been this whole time?
Trying to get here.
Oh, okay, that's way to be vague about it. I think you know what I mean.
Well, I had been in Waterdeep because there's been some whispers about where the source of some curses and magic had been coming from. And I went to check there first, and when that yielded very little, I began looking outside of that sphere of influence, and I heard about this place and the people who are here and what they do here, and I thought if I was going to find anything, and she like pulls the cloak closer around her shoulders, that this would be a good place to start looking.
She'll start closing the distance between the two. I don't know how far away they are, but she wants to get up close. Okay, and not a word where you've been if you're alive or anything like that? Do you not even care? I
It's
mean,
not
shit,
really
I know we left
easy.
things off bad, but I didn't think it was so bad you couldn't fucking talk to me anymore.
Oh, you don't think it was that bad?
I No, not even a little. I wouldn't have cut you out.
She reaches behind her back under her cloak, and you hear something like unclip, and she pulls a stone and wooden mask that has a fracture through it, um, and reveals it to you. It was that bad for me.
What I told Ross what I was going to say. Hold on a second. Just Joel came in because he was concerned. um, uh, seriously, after everything, a tiny little fracture in your stupid little mask, and all of a sudden I'm dead to you. I would
See,
have
that's
told you where it
exactly
was.
it. You think it's stupid.
It is stupid. It's a little tradition that we play so we feel better about ourselves. It means nothing.
To you.
It's an inanimate object. I am alive. I am your sister. I guess that means nothing.
She tucks the mask behind her belt and she says, I don't have time, okay? I have things I have to do that are bigger than this. And she circles you with her finger and the rest of the room.
I wave.
Hello.
Not now. What, are you just gonna leave again and not say anything anymore? You gonna cut me
No,
out again?
I'm going to get what I came for, and then I'll leave.
And
Is it-
what exactly would that be?
She looks up at you, Mel, and she says, do you work here?
uh, she just nods her head to the other scriveners. We're of the
Okay.
same order.
Great. She walks over to them and begins pawing through a bag full of coin and begins counting out a few platinum pieces before completing a transaction with them. She asks for a spell scroll, which they offer to her, and she exchanges.
And I grab it before she does.
You can make uh, a dexterity check. I don't think this is actually. I will allow this to be sleight of hand since sleight of hands get rolled so rarely.
Hey,
I know
love
that's what
that.
you wanted anyway.
I wasn't thinking about it, but now that you said it, all right, I'll take that.
Okay. Okay. Oh no, roll 20.
It definitely
Oh
makes more
no.
sense to me sleight of handing that beer mug on the boat.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, I hate that it turns off my auto whisper. Fucking bullshit. You snag it from her, and she like audibly growls.
Can you at least tell me? I'm holding it like kind of up in the air behind me. Can you at least tell me what you're doing is dangerous?
Buddy.
If it's dangerous or not.
She rolls her eyes and says, "It is. I'm down in the labyrinth. I am looking for more things like this." And she pulls on the cloak again.
Well, then, are you so proud that you won't let your sister help you?
I mean, do you want to help or do you want to break more shit?
I'd rather help.
Her head tilts up so
Uh,
she can look down her nose at you a little bit, still kind of glowering, and
yeah.
considers for a second.
At this point, I'll hand the scroll over to her.
She takes it, but she doesn't snatch it, and she says, "Fine." Who's all this?
This is a group that I've been with for some time now, and I'll introduce each of them.
As she kind of looks around, you're able to see the dark stains of her skin are like molted with like brown and like healthier colors of green in a way that is not as opaque as you're used to seeing, but it like has stretched up past her elbows, and then under the cloak. Um, and she says, "Are you just treasure hunting or
It's
mercenary work?"
generally mercenary work, but we kind of take different odd jobs here and there.
Okay. Well, I've heard of these artifacts that have found their way all over the place that are very useful for amplifying or focusing magical talents and abilities. I got this one off of a weird fairy creature that I'd found a couple of weeks ago down south. And her claws once again grasp at the woolen cloak. It's it's given me an unusual opportunity for an amount of control that I've none of us.
Is there anything in particular you're hunting now?
Max is having some headphone problems suddenly.
Okay.
Discord in general.
It's funny because I was about to say something, not knowing the headset
Great.
problems.
You hear me?
Very, very faintly.
Yeah, you're a little quieter, but
We're gonna try just working on my phone for a little while.
hmm
What was the last thing that I said?
The last thing that I heard was my question of, are you looking for anything in particular right now? Then I didn't hear anything after that.
Oh my god. Okay.
wait.
Um. So she says, right now, the thing that I'm looking for is just something that that I'll know. when I found this, I felt like I knew it. And when I touched it, it felt like something familiar. So I'm just kind of looking, I don't know what this is or where it came from, but if there's something else, I mean, and she holds her arms out and extends her fingers, claws, and her sinewy arms, and you can again see more clearly what you had noted before, that mark of change in her flesh. And she said, "It's doing something, something new, something good, I think."
Are you getting worse? Are you taking your meds?
It's not worse. It's better. It's more.
You know people sometimes get lost in their powers and they're consumed by it. It is worse.
Try it. She begins to unfasten the cloak and extends it to you.
I will kind of withdraw from it at first and say, what does it do?
It changes everything.
The change isn't always good, is it?
And stagnation is totally cool and fine, isn't it, darling?
She'll begrudgingly take it. And she'll take off her cloak. Okay. So I put it on and what?
Feel it.
She'll put the cloak on. And then just start kind of brushing it. Um, not necessarily sincerely.
The weight of it is more than you expected, as if this sheepskin is just an exterior material and that it's heavily padded and heavy on the inside. And as it hangs on your shoulders, you feel it just beginning kind of to press down on you. And as it makes contact with your skin, your shoulders, your arms, and fingers, you begin to feel that pressure almost permeate, move beyond just the surface of your skin and into you a little. You don't feel it so deep as in your bones, but there is something that feels like it's crawling into your person. Not in a invasive way, but in a very like intimately familiar presence. Um, while you're not attuned to this per se, you are feeling like you're feeling its presence upon you in a very foreign way. And the darkness and thickness that is manifesting in your own hands and extremities, it does not, it feels as if there is a fluidity to it in a way that you have never yet experienced. Like the blood within your fingers is moving freer than it has in a very long time.
Are you sure you know what you're doing here?
Do I know what I'm doing? I mean, does
Yeah,
anybody?
I don't like this. I don't like what you're mixed up in.
I know. You've made that pretty clear.
This is new. I don't like, and she'll kind of gesture towards the cloak. This.
If you don't want it, she holds out her hand for it.
Mm, hmm. So it's a gift then?
Her eyes kind of fall a little bit, and she says, I am sorry I didn't even tell Mom.
She'll hand over her cloak of elvenkind and put it in her hand. A temporary switch then. Not until I can figure out what this is doing.
Okay. She takes it and fastens it around her neck. So what are you doing here?
Kind of,
It's not a lot of sane people who make it to the vaccine tower.
we're on a delivery mission, but that's completed. We're kind of trying to figure out what to do next.
She looks around at everyone else who's in the room, kind of expectantly.
What's that?
Godric will take the cue. I don't believe we've had a chance to be introduced yet. My name's Godric, Daphne's son. Well, that's really all I've got. Sorry, that was really awkward. I don't want to intrude, but is there something you've got going on that we can help you with? Because I know Torik's not eager to do that next thing.
What's the next thing?
Honestly, I am not super sharp on the details.
Mel will look at Torek and say, "Are we at liberty to tell?"
I'm pretty sure that Lauxius wanted to keep this hush hush, but
Yeah, feels like
don't let me stop you.
He has several houses he has to paint.
yeah.
Hard work in the sun.
Rare
So
paint.
you're hunting artifacts in the labyrinth, and what, you just know what you're looking for when you find it. Also, sorry, we know her as Inks. I'm pretty sure you used a different
Yeah.
name a second ago. I didn't want to say anything then, but you asked, so
She just called her darling, that was all.
Oh, I
Never
could have
mind.
sworn there was another name.
Yeah, I was kind
It
of.
may have been fucked up by my Discord crashing. Wow.
Inks is your name, darling. I mean, it's a fine name.
It's not my name.
Okay.
It's
I
this.
mean, never
Where,
mind. I was gonna make a joke, but
where did you get the cloak of everything's different now? Exactly.
This in my while I was walking through the Neverwinter Forest on the way to the city, there was the significantly dismembered remains of a fayish creature. I couldn't identify it or anything, but just, I mean, this was, I mean, it was pretty apparent, special, powerful. I just kind of took it and ran. Didn't think too much of it.
And then who sent you here exactly?
She looks at Inks, and then says, our people have a group, a support system for folks who are suffering under an arcane malignancy. And
Yes. We're familiar.
okay, great. She kind of looks at Inks with a bit of a surprised smile and a little twinkle in her eye, and she says, "Well, when I found this and was able to report to a few others who were in Waterdeep, they suggested heading out to Vertiboro Pass and the Baxium Tower, since it's sort of a hub for weird things passing through. And if I could find someone else who found another one, thought my odds were good here. Seemed unlikely to find something like that in Waterdeep."
So, what's you're trying to look for more of that cloak or more of just objects that give the same energy?
And they might be cloaks, they might be other things. Like I said, I'm just kind of hoping to know it when I see it.
You're just winging it?
I
If
mean,
I'm
isn't that most people?
Yeah, fair.
if I may be a little bit rude, I suppose, blunt, I'm curious as to what the cloak does for the ailment. Because that's the reason why it's special, correct?
For me, uh, for me anyway, it made it so it things hurt less, and it also made things. It made the arcane easier. She extends her
So,
hand and snaps, and some like prestidigital like sparks uh, flicker between her nails.
and so that's new because of the cloak.
Yeah, one thing we begin to understand is that this this sickness is at its core, it's magic. But maybe it's just the fact that it's interacting with goblin kind in a weird way. But most goblins who remain sick and without training, it just sort of stagnates in their blood, and ultimately that's what eventually kills you. But
It well,
with the cloak, it was sort of like opening the dam. Water moves free now.
hold on. But Inks, if I mean, they might have just been jokes because I'm not exactly she just like moves her hand over her like completely stoic face. But you mentioned it hurting when you used your powers, right? Like that's part of the ailment is that you gain a natural sort of inclination towards the arcane because you have it in you, almost like a sorceress blood sort of thing, but it hurts you and will eventually kill you. I was under the impression that the more you used it, the shorter your time was.
No, not exactly. I mean, that's the point of the training is to kind of stem the flow of the ailment, we'll call it. It's when I transfer the ability over, like you've seen, it actually, in a sick way, kind of relieves the problem. But when I heal people, is when it makes it worse.
Interesting.
I mean, if it's specifically Fey related, do you want me to touch it?
Thanks to walk over.
Hold a hand out.
She will lift it up so she can touch it, but she won't take it off.
Yeah, I'll remove, like, make sure I don't have the gauntlet on. Touch it, see if it feels like anything. If it's just a cloak.
I think at your touch, it still feel like you can still interpret it as somewhat magical, just
Yeah.
because with how powerful it is and what it's been described as. But like, it's not the reactive force that you've had with other magical items,
Yeah.
and more like very clearly like specific magic items. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, Haza like touch it, kind of like move it in between her fingers for a second, shrug. It may be Fey, but I don't think that might not be the most important part.
Well, maybe you'd like me to take a look at it.
Can you figure
Oh,
it out?
Obvious grins.
Okay. This time she will actually take it off and hand it to Olvius.
Okay.
Obvious will take it and begin examining the fabric and the stitching while mumbling to himself. And I will take 10 minutes to ritually cast Identify.
Okay. My computer is completely down, so I won't be able to share a handout with you guys yet.
No
But
worries.
um, uh, I'll give it to you now. But like, what you identify, is a magical cloak that is technically, in its most organic state, intended to help uh sorcerers channel their power a little bit better, but it is useful for any creature of innate magic. Um, so again, like theoretically, Inks, who has this blood within her, this magical force within her, it has the potential to do her great good. Um, uh, in a recharge capacity. There's stuff once I get the handout. You'll see. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah,
Yep.
so I will explain that to Inks that well, I think it seems as if it's purpose built for sorcerers, but has a positive effect on anyone with some innate magical ability.
Hey, but at what cost? What does it do? What does it take from you?
Uh, if it takes anything, it is unclear to me what that is. I
She'll grab
saw,
the cloak back.
yeah, I saw, could discern nothing about it taking anything from you.
I mean,
I'll turn.
Inks, not all magic takes from you. Why do you heal if it hurts you? While other forms of magic can alleviate the whole thing.
I don't heal anymore. Not unless it's dire circumstances.
That's wise.
And magic always has a cost.
so okay, to walk through this then, your blood is magical, and that allows anybody with magic blood to work with it better.
Yeah. I mean, I've used it before. I was able to perform this crazy miracle one time just by focusing. I was able to raise the dead. I mean, it took a lot, and frankly, I mean, if I'm going to talk about costs, and she looks at Inks, felt something then, but nothing that I felt wasn't survivable or wasn't worth it.
Mel will like go to the table that she was working at and grab her book and open it and grab a quill and approach her and say, "And who exactly did you raise from the dead?"
Uh, she looks a little like warily at you and the other priests, and she says, someone in Waterdeep when I was there.
And to be clear, you mean raise dead as in resurrection, or raise dead as in like you made a construct? She points to her her zombie.
No, not that. No.
I helpfully pull the hood back.
Oh my god.
So you mean resurrection? And do you
Uh,
have a name?
um,
It's just
she
for
seems
record keeping.
a little bit nervous. He was a member of our of my group.
It's not unheard of for our group to be able to bring people back. It just requires
A wave again.
someone powerful.
She kind of nervously gives the name to you, Mel, for you. He seems very hesitant to do so, and says he was a member of our guild, the Nine Nail.
She writes it down. Well, I appreciate your cooperation and your good memory. Funnily enough, a lot of people don't remember the names of the people that die around them. This was a lot less asking around than I usually have to do.
Yeah, well, I think it's different when they die and you're able to do something about it.
I suppose that's right. She kind of side eyes Torek.
So you're not supposed to be able to. You shouldn't have that ability. You don't know what this does.
Thanks. It
I'm
sounds like
just
you
not
haven't.
interested in looking a gift horse in the mouth. It's done enough for me, and it's done enough for the people around me. And I'm okay with that.
She just looks disapprovingly.
So your plan here is to wander down into presumably dangerous area and just fumble around until you find something that may or may not be similar to this.
Yeah.
This is the plan that your leaders imparted to you.
Leaders is a strong word. This is something that I've chosen to do because I can. And I stand a better chance of doing anything with the cloak than most folks do on their own, or even in groups.
Speaking of, why did they send you alone? Or rather, why did you take this and decide to do it alone?
Telling you, it helps. I I can do incredible things because of what that was able to do for me.
Things beyond your ability. Does that mean it could be
Well,
progressing it?
If you don't want it, I'll take it back.
I'm not giving it back to you until I figure out everything about it. She'll just go into the corner and she'll sit down.
Okay, to more germane to your current task, why is it that this labyrinth was the place for you to go to?
I mean,
So
it's
the
filled with
Baxium
magical
Tower,
artifacts.
yeah, they all that these circle of mages, they came here looking for ancient artifacts, and they're still, decades later, still pulling stuff out of the labyrinth, out of the treasure hoards. If anything's here, I mean, it's gonna be here. And it's less expansive than just entering the entirety of the Underdark and wandering. It's a little bit more confined.
I mean, it sounds to me like a very brave and noble quest that you've set out for. But
Although not particularly thought out.
a lot of the best plans aren't particularly thought out.
Isn't that the theme for this group?
Yeah, on that note, I'm willing to help. I
I'd
know
be honored to get to.
we have a task that I think might keep, perhaps. And it might be best for us to have some space in between us and that task to think about it.
I mean, that task does require scouring through the labyrinth looking for a special little hole in space or whatever.
That's fair.
Godric. Mel will shoot knives in your direction.
The paintbrush.
The rare
Tor-
paint, and
Torek lost his paintbrush down there.
the paintbrush of painting.
He's very
Mhm.
sentimental about it.
Yeah, that's me, the sentimental kind. And a painter.
I'll
Suppose-
remind you of your amulet thing.
I mean, you're a map maker, Torek. You can probably paint. Your maps are good.
I feel like those are two very, very different. I mean, no, of course I am an expert painter.
Calligraphy is kind of painting.
The skills
Oh,
transfer.
that's
a
what
little
it
bit.
is. It was calligraphy, not painting.
Say,
Layman can get that twisted.
Anyways. Ulvius, I believe you were saying something.
nope.
Well, since we were going to be wandering, I guess, somewhat directionally into a dangerous labyrinth, I suppose a pit stop for a good cause.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Inks. Sounds like you and your sister have a rocky history.
Is there more?
Are you interested in reconciling with your sister?
Is she?
Okay, do you two need the room? Like, would it be easier if we, I don't know, went into a
Inks?
different...
Inks, I don't know your sister. I don't care what she wants. I want to know what you want so I can decide whether or not I can help you. Do you want to reconcile with your sister?
I mean, obviously I do.
Okay, well,
I do. And she'll look at Sonxy.
Her ears have
Ulvi-
kind of dropped.
Ulvius will look.
She looks.
Ulvius will look at Sonxy.
Um, she actually looks like there's like a mask of like real sentimental like emotion, and she just nods.
Okay, Inks. Sounds like you're both interested in reconciliation. Seems like helping your sister with this task is an opportunity for that. Would you like to do that?
Yes. Mostly so
Wonderful.
she doesn't go alone. Because that'd be stupid.
Oh, I mean, she'd very likely get herself killed. I agree, but not with all of us. We'd be happy to help.
Thanks.
Yes.
Sorry, I said thanks, but my tongue.
Oh.
Thanks.
Funny how closely those are related. Whatever. I need time. Give me a little bit.
Where can we
Yeah.
find you?
Um, I have a there's a hovel. So if you go outside here, you look at the market, and she points towards where the market is outside, in the direction from the temple. The cave's kind of filled with dugout um, beds you can rent. And every once in a while, I spend a night or two at the Half Moon Inn. Um, I'm around.
All right. Well, we do have some business to tie up in the morning. It's kind of difficult to tell the time of day, but I am tired.
Oh,
So,
yeah. If you're gonna stay long down here, forget about keeping track of the time. Everyone here is working all the time.
let's hope not. She will, like, as she says that, she kind of like looks up and does a quiet prayer to Yurgle, like, please no mages knock on our fucking door.
as as she's walking out of the temple doors, she looks back at Inks again for a moment. And Inks, you see her eyes sort of fall to your hip where your mask is fixed. She doesn't say anything. She just she pulls up the hood of the cloak of Elvenkind and then ducks out.
As she leaves and she looks at Songsy's face, you can just see kind of like a look of concern. And then when Songsi leaves, she'll just go back to closing her eyes and meditating, or at least attempting to. She's not very good at it.
Now, if any of y'all ever need to know what time it is, you can always just ask me. I've got a pretty good idea for that kind of thing.
Of course you do.
How?
Oh, I just an innate feeling kind of thing.
Okay.
Naturally.
I also happen to know what time it is.
What time is it, Ulvius?
It's tea time. I'll start pouring some tea.
I like that because technically you had tea like an hour ago.
No, we just had a very tense conversation. It's time for more tea.
I do think this might be one of the very first times that, like, everybody sees Mel kind of giggle. Okay. Tea, then bed, then resurrect this corpse.
Yeah, it's good to keep our eyes on the sort of,
Very impending goal, yes.
yeah, on the crime that we did and we need to rectify.
Mel will join Ulvius for tea for a little bit and start her long rest.
Okay.
I am currently attuning to this cloak.
Yep. I'm sorry. My computer is still booting up, so.
Yeah.
Oh my
No
goodness.
worries.
I will sidle up to Inks and like lean, like go into like a seated, like cross-legged position to do a meditation myself, but then lean over and whisper, "Are you gonna tell her?"
No,
Okay.
she's a bit of a zealot. She relishes in it. That's why I'm so worried, because the more power she attains, generally the worse it gets. And so, but that's what she wants. I think if I told her, she might try to stop me. But this is good for her. It's good for all of us. She'll see it in time.
And what about the answer?
Oh, I thought that's what you were referring to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The same answer.
She nods.
It's not like me. That's why she ran away. We got in a fight and I threw her mask at her. It's kind of a sacred relic for some, and I guess that was the ultimate sin in her eyes. And she left, and she stopped talking to me until now, apparently.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Might as well. Apparently, I'm an open book today.
Yeah, well, we got you on one of those days. And no alcohol.
She. Nah, never mind.
Why did you start carving that?
Mostly pressure, but I'm kind of turning it into a sign of the word I'm looking for, rebellion. It's a way to demonstrate my feelings without having to say anything. You'll see in time. It's not done yet.
Fair enough. Also, if the cloak tries to like mind control you or anything, how do you want us to handle that?
Well, if it's like cursed or something, please break the curse before killing me. Or at least try to. And she'll smile.
Good deal. Smiles and closes her eyes.
Thanks, we'll go back to closing our eyes. Oh, and Mel? Oh wait, Mel's not here. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm still in the room.
Okay.
I'm,
I don't know how much of you heard that, but let's keep
You've
our
been-
plan between us.
the what?
Our plan.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And especially since, again, I don't want to give you false hope. I want to remain as objective in saying that it is a maybe. I will do it if I can, or if I find somebody who can, but it is not a guarantee. Weirdly enough, a lot of curses and things that affect, um, our sort of genetic makeup that have been passed down from a curse are very difficult to reverse. She sort of like gestures to herself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
it's not like I've tried, but I'm sure many have, especially in the early days. But
I'm sure we've tried, but those tend to fall on deaf ears.
yes, I mean, your situation is a little bit more complicated. I feel like, since it is kind of a close held secret, there isn't much, want to change or pressure to change, especially when you, I guess, learn to deal with it with these guilds and things that train ailed individuals such as yourself. And then it's seen as a gift.
Yeah.
Having fiendish blood never was something that we could particularly hide, nor was something that was ever really seen as a gift other than, those inclined to pursue more fiendish guidance. It's either a thing that was or a curse. But neither here nor there.
Thank you for getting it.
I want to make it clear that I don't.
I think you understand more than you think.
I am understanding, however, I have absolutely no idea because while there might be some superstitious folks that might treat me a little different, it's not a death sentence, nor is it a curse to be like my blood, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
But again, I'll keep it on the low. Mel says something more articulate than that.
Yeah.
Violet has funny brain. And apologies if I stated too much of what you told me. I wasn't really thinking of anything that needed to be um secreted or anything. That was my fault.
I guess I should probably apologize to the rest of you for that obvious awkward encounter. It's just I haven't seen her, so emotions are high. I generally like to think I have a little more self-control than that, but she tends to bring that out in me.
We all have pasts. I mean, we've dealt with it before. She looks at Haza.
Eyes remain closed.
Hey, has anyone given any thought to what happens if things go poorly with our business tomorrow?
Well, how do you mean poorly?
Like
Um,
we all get arrested poorly.
Yeah, arrested.
I would hope to have the body with a soul back in it by tomorrow. She
Yeah, but what if
smiles.
But
what if
you get arrested.
what if she's not happy about that? I mean, she'll be
if
happy about being back, but what if she's not happy about having been gone in the first place?
Highly likely.
well,
Yeah.
obviously she's going to be most likely upset from the pain and the experience of being in the afterlife and then being put back in this mortal coil. However, I don't think that based on their behavior during that conflict, they were very mm, passive. Not to say in demeanor, or rather in demeanor, not necessarily in personality, if that makes sense. Mm, I don't have any real worries that this person will jump to either violence again or trying to sick the guard on us, um, without negotiation at least.
I mean, obvious, you've got a bit of a silver tongue. Maybe you can persuade her into seeing it as a better deal than not.
I have to interject very quickly and say that Ulvius,
Hmm?
I am not sure that you use magic in your conversation. You may just be very persuasive. But the person that we're resurrecting is a mage. So if there's anything tricky that you do, please let it be a last resort. And please, please, for the love of all of life and death, please make it subtle.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe you should also talk to the individuals that rushed into that room yesterday. Ask them to be a little more subtle.
That's fair enough, I suppose. This is more, we did the thing. Let's try and make it better.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
I'm just imploring you to exercise utmost caution because, it might be a sign of aggression if this individual feels like they're being coerced into their position in any form.
Well, wouldn't utmost caution be leaving this person dead?
No,
Then we don't have to run any of
because,
these risks.
see, but then we have to run the risk of the rest of the guild of mages that runs this whole entire town, city, being angry at us.
Well, aren't they angry at us already?
Well, hopefully, if you smooth things over with the guards, then no. We still have time. Borrowed time, but time. And now that we have the incentive from Inks's sister to keep our business here temporarily, it would be nice if the whole city didn't, you know, if we didn't have a price on our heads, so to speak. Because trust me, we could just leave. But I feel like a few of us would be opposed to that at this point.
Or we want to help Inks out with her reconciliation.
Exactly. And we already mucked up a little bit entering the city, so we'll fix that and I'll be fine in the morning.
Okay.
But let's say it doesn't go well. Do we just leave?
I mean,
I'm asking the room.
are you talking
Yes.
about going into the labyrinth, or are you talking about leaving here entirely?
Here. Yes, entirely.
I'm not leaving Songsi.
So,
She's in something dangerous. I'm not going to let her go and do that by herself.
not to put too much energy into the worst case scenario so it doesn't manifest, but what if we are, wanted after that point? Or at least due to stand some sort of trial or be imprisoned or such like? What then?
I'm not leaving Songsi.
So we retreat into. Oh, fuck. So, to keep in line with Inks's thing, I think the safest bet might be to help Songsi and then flee through. She'll look nervously at Torek, the portal.
Why don't we worry about what to do if everything goes wrong when we have a better handle on what's even going on?
Very fair assessment.
Before we start doomsaying everything.
Well, pays to be prepared, though. Although most of the best laid plans are.
Yeah, we just went
Not
over the
given
fact that
much thought.
planning is not. We plan better on our toes. I'm always on my toes, but for you normal bipeds.
Now I can stunning strike with reckless abandon.
Well, I mean, I made the point to, if anyone should talk with Mister Full Moon, Bright Moon, Hollow Moon. Half Moon.
Mr. Half Moon?
Bingo. Yeah, I wanted to make it clear that, anything that, any comeuppance, should be directed at me. And that was in no small part because I don't particularly intend to recognize some illicit government that uses such barbaric tactics to enforce upon their, whatchamacallit. So,
Mel will look to the other scriveners. Is it barbaric?
they sent folk to beat down someone who was a little behind on payments.
Doesn't that happen? Isn't that normal?
Doesn't mean I agree with it or abide by it.
Doesn't open in Kobold Society, I'll tell you that.
I just mean to say all the heat will be directed at me, and they can't arrest me because I do not recognize them as a viable government. So, I mean, we're good. We're set.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's how that works.
That is
but
absolutely not
I
how
get
that
your
works.
meaning. I get
That
your
is
meaning and agree
fascinating.
with the sentiment.
Wow. What a fascinating concept
What,
you've
what
just.
are those people called? Like,
Ah, God.
like
Sovereign
emancipated-
citizens.
Sovereign citizens. That's it.
Yeah.
Godric is a sovereign citizen.
Godric is not my name.
God.
And y'all think Ovius is the psychopath. Okay.
Godric is the name of the individual, not me.
How lovely it must be to live a life so free of thought.
Yeah, I just. Why don't we see how bringing this guy, this human back from the dead works before we start worrying about. Oh no. Oh,
What oh no.
nice.
Only been working on that since 8 a.m. this morning.
I think we're pretty much in the same boat we were in. Rest up. We figure out what to do tomorrow. There's a lot of options and a lot of ways that things could forestall a lot of those options. So just think about what each of us wants to do. And once we know how it shakes out, we can always put it to the group, Have a little discussion before we well, I say we, before Mel does her thing with the resurrection and all that. Especially, I mean, that's got to go off without a hitch first, so.
All right. Is there anything anyone else wants to do before your long rest begins and finishes? Or is interrupted, perhaps?
I am going to sneak out.
Sick. Where you going?
God, we fucking love when Ted sneaks out, don't we?
That's Doug, but
Sorry,
I was
Doug.
actually
My
planning
bad.
on staying up and standing guard all night. So
That's funnier. Oh God. Hey, anyone else having war flashbacks?
Flashbacks? Yep.
Yep, I sure fucking am. That's why I was saying it's always fun when Doug sneaks out, isn't it? It's always really fun.
And Ted is on a watch.
Oh my
Okay.
god, you're right.
Yeah. For Tyler's clarification, they committed arson the last time. I guess no, that was a different thing. I guess Cody also wasn't there. For Cody and Tyler. Arson.
I hate to say this, but I do not remember this.
Yeah, you don't remember when fucking Panarin snuck out that one time in
Oh, is that
Secomber? Yeah.
Is that when he was
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out if like the priest guy was legit or not?
No,
No.
it was you're covering your tracks with your drunk buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, completely out of my mind.
And got your ass handed to you.
Yeah, it was going
was
through
fun.
Jakob's place. Like,
Why do you think
finding
he
all
can't
of the
remember it?
paperwork.
Dang. All right, I
There
think I
is a
remember.
scene in Futurama that I cannot find the GIF for, but Bender realizes they're all in international waters, makes a call, like does a deal, and then it's like, guess what you're all guess what you're all party to, and I'm trying desperately to find that GIF because it feels so appropriate.
Well.
Hold on. Does it actually? I can fucking. Can't I?
Dude, that's it.
Can I destroy undead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna destroy my skeleton and
Oh, I mean, you could just not animate him again.
No. It
Oh,
stays
that's
a
right.
construct. It's just you lose control of it, so I have to destroy it. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know you accidentally brought a grenade with you and have just been holding the pin this whole time. Fascinating.
I mean,
Well, it doesn't
to be
do anything.
fair,
It's kind of
which
violent.
of us is not in that situation? Like,
Yes.
I'm not sure the like unknown lieutenant of some Fey shock unit really gets to judge
Hey.
one zombie.
I'm a captain, thank you very much.
Additionally, this was literally sanctioned by the god of death and
it's
his
fine.
followers.
He knew you could kill it if you had to. Yeah, you can return Zod to the grave if you choose.
Goodbye, Zod. Back in the Pokeball of the urn for you.
I'll give you inspiration for that, Violet.
Man,
Wait, do I
Dustin
actually get to
goes too
keep the
soon.
urn too of the ashes that I have?
I'll let you do that. That's funny as shit.
Only if later on when you get hit really hard, you just bring it back up as like you hear a crack.
You're
You drop from an incredibly tall
Yeah.
drop, and she's just like in a pile of ashes.
There's just a plume like the powder fall, like the Jackie Chan movies. Like
God damn it. No, I'm keeping that shit in my bag of holding. It's not outside.
Okay. If Inks is trying to sneak out, it's only fair that we once again have Doug roll a stealth roll contested by Ted's perception check.
We're
You
back
have a-
here again, baby.
Only there, I feel like there is a far better chance because there's no alarm spell this time.
That's true. That is true.
I'll take it.
whoa.
The fucking legend.
I feel like somebody's watching me.
Memories. Well, let's play this deja vu out. Torek, what happens when you catch Inks sneaking out?
Yeah.
Everything okay? You need something? I'm just keeping an eye in case those wizards try to get here early, you know. I mean, I don't think they'll attack the Scriveners, but
Yeah, true. You never know. It's a good idea. I was just going out for a bit.
you good? Do you want company? I can leave Pecoreva here, or Pecoreva can go with you, and you can not have to, speak awkwardly to me.
Yeah, I just got a lot on my mind, but I'll take back a Reva. That way, if shit goes south, I can just ride him back, right?
Or yeah, yeah, Pecoreva, go with Inks. Keep her safe. Let me know if anything happens.
Her head bobs and she walks out covered in her little clanky barding. Where are you going?
Half moon in.
Okay.
I'm trying to find
Uh,
Sansi.
trying to what?
Find Sansi.
Okay. Um.
So no arson this time.
Yeah,
Uh.
it's young.
Yeah. You'll actually. I'll have you make a perception check as well.
Okay. Mm. Mm. Do I want to keep that? I'll try one more time.
Okay.
Nope, I'll keep the 16.
Okay. You can take the directions towards the Half Moon Inn, and you and the weasel make your way to this quaint little building here below you. Can you see?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, look, our little friend.
Yeah, he's here in spirit. I'll show you the inside of the fairly crowded place that is predominantly you're seeing filled with orcs and some of the more regular denizens you've seen down here of dwarves, both mountain dwarves and dark Duragar. Um, but you do not see your sister.
Is there like an innkeeper or like a barkeeper around?
Yeah. You see an older halfling woman who looks a little bit like the fella you'd met earlier today, who's here, and she asks what she can do for you.
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody that would have checked in. I'm delivering something very important. Kind of looks like me. Got a lot of markings on their skin. Around my
Oh,
height, but a little taller.
she hasn't come in tonight. She sometimes hears every other night. Uh, Usually for use of the bathhouse, but I don't think she doesn't spend every night here.
Do you know where she spends her other nights, or I know she's not the talkative sort?
Many people make use of the coves for cheaper rent if they're going to stay here long term. Uh, our our rooms, while fairly priced, uh, some folks just can't afford if they're not so successful in the labyrinth.
You said the Cove?
She points you once again, in the direction of the marketplace.
I will head that. Well, thanks for the information, and I'll put down a silver piece.
She takes it very gratefully, and you can head back out towards the market. I'll take you there in a second. Where you're once again seeing the many curious faces, the odd fleshy metallic cubic creature that is quite large, the squid-faced individual, several dark elves, and some dwarves as well. You see one person who's walking around who looks like they are, quite frankly, a pile of walking rags. Um, and a kobold or two passes your vision. But you do see the southern wall, the southern and westward wall, are fairly, as stated, like coated in these dug out small like tunnels, just these pockets where like straw mattresses have been laid, and there's only just room for just one person, and like a bedroll and blanket, as well as some like a little more structured ones that you can kind of see on the lower level of it as well.
These are just kind of exposed, or is it like uh, in an area?
They're mostly exposed. There appears to be like some of them have like privacy curtains, but given that it's climate controlled down here, uh, uh, there's not like protection from elements.
Do I see Songsy?
Make another perception check.
Okay. I will spend an inspiration point for that.
Okay.
God damn it, one more. Okay.
It takes you some time before you're able to find her pretty high up, and like the climb up to these higher levels of the cavern. While there is like dug steps, it's still kind of like slick and tricky.
I don't need no steps.
That's true. You don't, but usually the people who are here do. Um, you can just kind of like put your foot to one and pull and like kick yourself up pretty easily and climb effortlessly to where your sister is laying down. She appears to be asleep as far as you can tell, but as you
I also want to say before I went up, I told Packer I to stay.
Okay.
I don't know how well he is at traversing walls.
Yeah, she I don't think she has a climb speed. She sits and watches you. But as you approach the little dugout hovel, which for two goblins is like comfortably sized, but would be snug for a single person, she stirs and sits up.
Oh, damn it! I was hoping not to wake her up.
Yeah, well.
Hi.
Hi.
See, you're alone by yourself again.
Yeah.
Not exactly smart.
Do you want to do a sleepover? Is that what you're asking?
It's not a sleepover. I'm just saying it'd be better if we slept in pairs. Be safer.
Whatever you need to say, darling. She
All right. Hold on. I gotta
scooches
go.
over.
Hold on. I gotta go get rid of a giant weasel. And I do not explain that any further.
Is that like
Although
a
she's
vermin problem? They have shampoo for that, you know.
She'll chuckle. She runs back down and says, "All right, Pakareva, I'm good. You can go back and tell Torek I'll be back in the morning." Do you guys talk? Can you talk? Can you not?
She bobs her head and then darts away.
Wow, that is a smart weasel.
Uh,
Run back up. I won't lay down. I'll just kind of sit down, arms crossed, and put my back against the wall as if to keep watch, which is my intent. But she will fall asleep when she gets sleepy on accident.
She takes a while. Your sister takes a while to like kind of uncomfortably sit up with you for a moment before kind of likewise and in vertical as well, also falling asleep.
Yeah, she doesn't talk. My plan wasn't to talk.
Yeah, she doesn't want to either. Pakreva comes scurrying back. In that time, also notifying you, Torek, of where Inks is, and I guess probably asking if you would like her to stay and watch.
Trying to remember if we actually can. I'm looking at the spell to see if we can actually communicate. I'm not sure we can. She can understand the language that I speak, which, as much as I want it to be draconic, is going to be common, which is far more useful.
Is there not like a telepathic thing at all for this spell?
No. Oh no, while your Steve's within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with each other telepathically. It's buried well past the language part.
Gotcha.
Nah, just letting cyberspace. Should
She
be
curls
safe.
up in front of you.
That grape is so
Torque.
sweet. I want one.
You have a familiar at home. Familiar at home. Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get a creepy freaking zombie, and you get a cute telepathic weasel.
We could make yours a weasel. It'll just also be a zombie weasel.
Bet.
Torque will do the thing where like dogs kind of do, where they spin around in a circle before laying down, and will wait for Pekareva to circle up, and then like circle around in the donut of giant weasel, and lay down
Yeah.
watching the door.
I'm thinking of him like snout just barely over like the rise of her back
Giant
and like rifle poking out. Okay, if you would like to make me a perception check for your watch. And are you staying awake for the whole night, or are you falling asleep?
No, I'm gonna try.
Okay, great. We'll make a con save as well then.
I burned up my good perception check on inks.
It's worth it, I think.
Con save.
To make sure I
Yeah.
don't burn anything.
Okay. As far as you can tell through the night, nothing happens. The rest of your party begins to rouse fairly within equal amount of time to each other, though at what time of day that may be mostly unknown to you all. Let's see. Inks, are you headed back in the morning, or what are you doing?
So when Sangsi wakes up,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say, all right, what's your plan?
Well, the next plan was to go back into the labyrinth.
Okay, well, we're all still at the chapel, so come meet us there. Do whatever
Yeah.
morning ritual you do. Ritual. And I guess I'll see you soon. And she'll leave before she can say goodbye.
Okay. All right, you can scurry back to the temple. What's everyone else up to in the morning?
Business. Yeah,
We're waking the dead, baby.
Yeah, first thing Mel does is just like wake up. Like just like rise from whatever bed or bedroll that she's in, like fucking Wednesday Addams, just straight out like a fucking vampire. Getting up, saying a little prayer of thanks to Yergel again, and raising that goddamn corpse.
Okay. The other two priests who are with you, who help prepare the body, watch respectfully. Some small recitations happening on from them as you perform your dark arts. The lights in this room dim until it feels as if they are snuffed out. There is a flurry of wind that begins pulling things off of shelves and dropping books open. Pages flutter, and the room is filled with the sound of roaring magic and the ripping of pages as they're turned and turned and turned. And when the cacophony subsides and the lights return, there is a dusty breath that is immediately forced into the lungs of this person, who sits up and coughs and sputters and looks around and says, "Oh, you're all in so much trouble." Um, and we'll take our 15-minute break.
Noise.
I can put you back if you wanna.
um,
We were being thanked for bringing this person
Yeah.
back from the dead. Yep. Totally a thank you. Everything is good.
this this woman in her tattered and spell scored robes swings her legs off of the table, and she said and begins to stand and says, that is close enough. You've all made a terrible mistake. This is unacceptable behavior within the tower. You will be taking this into consideration. And she is going to cast a spell.
Counterspell.
Okay. Um, uh, she does attempt to move as well when her
Okay.
spell is
Just
countered.
Just let us talk just for a second.
tell.
We brought you back from the dead. You were dead. We did not want you to be dead anymore, and now you aren't. Just pause for a second, think that thought through. We can wait.
She looks at all of you and pulls her chin up to look down at at you, Haza, a little bit. Her robes kind of gathered in her hands.
We are aware of the magnitude of the mistake that we made, and we spent a significant amount of money and magic to fix it because we knew what we did and how we had fucked up. That is why you are
Was
here.
a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I would like
Those-
to point out that y'all refused to explain what the situation was. We saw a group of people beating up a helpless individual. So,
All that
Also-
aside, your comrades are fine, and you are now fine. So, we would like to apologize for the inconvenience and the hostility. And we understand the situation now because we talked to your comrades. You are alive, in part because of them and their explaining of the situation.
Half Moon's debt has been paid.
And now that things are the way they are, I hope you can accept an apology and perhaps we can be square.
She sniffs, looks around, tucks a bit of her stray hair behind her ear, and says, "Very well. If you do not mind, I will be returning to the Vaxium Tower."
Oh. Well, um, before you return to the tower, would you mind to tell us if you accept our apology or not?
Your apology is accepted.
Can I make an insight check on that?
I want to try.
Yeah,
to,
sure.
but I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
Telling the truth, probably.
This is very clearly like a powerful person who very likely comes from nobility and does not take her own word lightly.
Well, in that case, we're happy that our business has concluded. We, again, sorry for the inconvenience, but now that we're all square, of course, you can go as you see fit.
She brushes her hair over her shoulder, and straightens her garments a little bit. Mhm.
Just, what's your name? Feel
Dwyn.
like Dwin. Okay. I'm Torek. This is Pakareva. I just for everything that went on, it felt weird to not know your name.
Oh. I cannot say thank you just yet, but
Sorry, is that with
You
one N or two?
Hey, buddy.
You-
just one.
You
But-
don't need to thank us. In fact, probably don't. Again, we are well aware of the fact that this situation was largely our fault towards the end. Maybe do consider your approach to your
Heavily armed large groups of strangers who ask you what's going on.
or don't, honestly, just as long as this is square.
You know what? We've apologized, and Dwin has been gracious enough to accept. I think that's enough for this morning. Don't you, Dwin?
Quite enough.
Would you care for some tea before you leave? I imagine you might be a bit parched. It's good for the throat, you know.
You see like her suck on her lower lip for a moment, but she says, "No, I should be returning." If I have been dead, then I am likely still missing.
You are expected. We informed your associates of that you would be returned to them, and if not, to come looking for you. So you're free to let them know of what happened here, or don't, if that preserves your reputation. They may just think that you were taken captive or something.
How
Well-
long should they have been missing me?
Same day you died, and the evening of.
Less than 12 hours, I think.
We're very efficient with our work.
You see her nod a little bit, and with passive insight, Mel, you can kind of read that she is truthfully fairly impressed with that. She continues rightening herself a little bit before she begins walking towards the exit, and then leaves.
Well, that one.
Gosh, that's never pleasant.
So we should probably get in the labyrinth as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I imagine even if the apology was genuinely accepted, that's still gonna hurt a little bit. The pride.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
No reason to tempt fate sticking around to find out.
Yeah, exactly. You got Sanzi ready to go, Inks?
I told her to meet us here, but we can go look for her instead of waiting around. I know her last location.
Well, you could wait if you want, since she's expecting to meet us here, or half and half. Either way, it's up to you. It's your kin.
Let's go look for her. There's no reason to wait. There's actually more incentive to leave as early as possible.
As if we're leaving, I would like to go to the the scriveners at the temple and just say a very quick and solemn thank you for your hospitality and dealing with the 5 different crazy things that just happened in your temple.
You get no small. You are on no uncertain terms. Are they incredibly anxious and happy to serve, but are very shaken by the events of the past day.
They want to go back to boredom.
No, trust me, guys. This life is cool. Be like me.
You all, do you all go or just some of you go?
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
joining
figure.
Inksifer.
Time
Yeah.
to roll.
Okay.
Stay a little bit ahead, trying to find her.
Okay. You step out and head once again towards, excuse me, the market and the coves, keeping an eye out for her. And as you're sort of like eyeing up the wall, uh, looking for her, one of the people who's in that like circle of painters, the older woman, just shouts out, "She's not there. She's already left. She's probably still around in the hall, but she's woken up already."
God damn it. All right, well, let's go to the hall.
You are currently in the hall, so you kind of have to, you would have
No.
to wander to find her. Unless, of course, you just wanted to like wait for her back at the temple. Like, if you want to go seek her out and get started early, you can.
Would like to seek her out early.
Okay.
Is it a perception check, or do I need to like move around?
We can start with a perception check and see how quickly this goes for you.
Or for all of us? If anyone else wants to roll, because my perception checks are trash. 10.
Has any sense of where she should be other than you. It rolls in that one.
Ah.
For the sheer hilarity of it, I will spend an inspiration for Pacaretta's perception check.
Incredible.
Hey.
Holy shit.
Oh, okay. I don't like another nat one just snuck its way in there.
You know what? I
No.
do
There's a
because
lot
I
of nat
wasn't
ones
rolling
on
with
screen.
advantage, so that
True.
nat one is just like
Yeah.
it's just there. I don't have
Yeah.
to give a crap
It
about
can't hurt you.
it. Exactly.
I'm currently looking at 4 nat ones like in chat. Like, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah. Roll
Um,
20 is great, everybody. Roll 20 is the best.
you pass by the
Dude,
half
we've seen
moon
you roll
inn.
real dice at this point. You cannot be blaming this on roll 20.
Yeah, but see, this is more than just me.
So you take some time wandering through the hall. This will be the opportunity to like see a little bit more of it. I'm not going to walk you through fucking everything. There's clearly some houses that are here. You see some of the exits that leave from the hall, presumably into the labyrinth. There are like several diverging tunnels and pathways out of this gigantic cavern that lead like out and down and into the darkness. You see the Half Moon Inn, which is marked by a half moon carved onto a placard above its door. You see halfway through the cavern as well, there is a river that divides the hall in half. There's a bridge across it, but you can hear water rushing from waterfalls on either end of this river. As you're walking through, you also pass by a very large and significantly weathered and partially destroyed statue of a minotaur in the center of the chamber. At its feet is a carving of a teleportation circle. Let's see what other big features. There are a number of the like orcish guard who loiter around there and take visible note of all of you as you pass by. You take a peek into the chain gut trading post. You do not see her there, though it makes sense that that would be a place to look. But eventually do find her walking into a place that just says, what is it? Oh, where are you? The Blackjack, which appears to be a shop with some, like a very heavy curtain in the window that is pulled apart to offer a window display of like an animated wand that is like spinning in the air and firing sparks. And that's where she is headed.
Hey, sexy, wait up. Soxy.
Huh.
She turns and waits for you. She says, just grabbing a couple of things before we go.
Okay, great. So the timeline has increased, so the sooner we can go, the better.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna grab some potions while I'm here.
You good on
And
money?
did you ask if she has money?
I said, yeah, I said you good on
Oh.
money.
Yeah, I should be. Yeah. And she walks in. Yeah. Leaving you all out here under the eye of some of the orcish guards for a time. And returns shortly later with the little satchel clinking with some glass vials. She says, okay, so here's part of it. The labyrinth is big and broad, and very few people know how to navigate it properly. And given that I'm just looking for something that maybe is in here, I tend to just pick a path and walk until I am out of supplies, and then I come back.
Sounds like a plan, I guess. So,
Good
are there
design.
guards all over this place because stuff just wanders out of the labyrinth? Like I noticed there are plenty of entrances to the labyrinth around, but
You usually don't hit anything weird for about a mile or so.
Oh.
Yeah, they're mostly here for the people who live or operate in the hall.
all right, well,
Okay. She looks around, spots a pathway that leads outwards. On the eastern side of the hall. I'll drag your guys' tokens a little bit so you have an idea. Let's go. Let's put you over here. There we go. She points and lifts the hood of the cloak and just begins to walk into the tunnel. Okay. I'm getting to a point where I actually can't keep sitting up anymore. So I think, especially now would be the actual critical point of being at the table. I'm gonna have to call session because I can't.
yeah.
I can't run in my current state. I think.
That's a-okay.